And so let's talk about the children just for a little bit with how do we practice the psychological flexibility. Let's go with the 3 age groups. So early childhood, what do parents experience a lot of? Tantrums. How do you do that? Remain calm when your child is in the supermarket, flat on the floors, kicking, screaming. Middle childhood, you might have a lot of bullying and pushing around once you're in middle school, trying to figure out themselves. And then the teenage years of finding their own identity and pushing the buttons and questioning your values that you thought you cemented in them, and now they're like throwing it in your face. I don't believe what you're saying and all of that. How can you practice psychological flexibility with your little children or your big children, to remain calm and present and so on? Maybe the 3 examples you can talk about.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of the same skills for all 3 examples that just need to be applied a little bit differently. But, I think about, trees, and they're super tall and they have these big branches, and somehow they don't fall over when a wind comes, right? Mm-hmm. And why is it? There's sort of 2 things that are happening there with trees that allow them not to fall over. The first part is that they have roots. And oftentimes those roots are interconnected with other roots in the ground. It's not just the tree's roots itself, it's other roots, but they have roots. And then they have a solid trunk, right? So they have a groundedness to them, but they also have flexibility to them. So when the wind comes, they do this. They're not rigid, right? So when I think about parenting a toddler in the grocery store that's having a tantrum, what are your roots? And our roots can be everything from knowing that I am not the first mother that this has happened to, we are not alone. And part of a core component of self-compassion, Kristen Neff's work of mindfulness and kindness and common humanity. Like, here I am in the grocery store, my kid having a tantrum. I am not alone. So I feel connectedness in my roots. Another thing that can help us with feeling grounded is our values. And going back to that core process again, if someone were videotaping me, as they may be in the grocery store, actually, how do I want to be? How do I want to show up? If I'm looking at this when I'm 70 years old and they're replaying this family video, what do I want to think about myself? Those are my values. And can I act from there? So those are our roots. And then if we think about flexibility in that grocery store, how can I be flexible here? Like, sometimes it's like abandon the grocery cart. You can leave it like fully filled and pick up your kid and walk out of the store. Maybe there's some expectations that shows that you shouldn't do that, but right now that may be the most effective thing, right? Or maybe, whatever it is that would be what matters most in this moment to get through it without losing it. Because what we don't want to do is blow up at our kids, check out from our kids. We want to actually be able to help them navigate. They're calling on us to show us how to emotionally regulate. They're not regulated, and they're asking us in that moment how to do it. So it's calling upon our best selves, like really hard to do that. So that same example of feeling like you have that grounded roots, that strong trunk, and for everybody, that's a little bit different of what those are. For some people, it's faith and spirituality. It's like, I just need to say a prayer right now. For somebody else, it's really somatic. Doing some deep breathing really works for them. For somebody else, it's like, I'm just going to call a friend and be like, here I am in the grocery store. Whatever those are for you, like asking yourself, what helps me feel strong in my trunk and my roots? And then asking yourself, like, here I am with my teenager when they're pushing back. Maybe I need to be a little more flexible here. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to kind of loosen up a bit and let them try it out and kind of explore the world, which is what teenagers are designed to do. Mm-hmm. So that would be
the root and the trunk.
Yeah. And the flexibility. Yeah. And then the flexible branches. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was such a beautiful description of how we can navigate that with our children.